These are the fitness mistakes that are sabotaging your results. So let's go through the mistakes and how to fix them. If strength is your goal, always prioritize lifting first when your muscles are fresh. This is literally just me telling you that you can see so much more progress if you do something slightly different. When you are trying to see strength gains, when you are trying to build muscle and get stronger, you need to rest. Hello. Hi. Tara here, your girl. And today we're going to talk about something that every woman needs to hear. These are the fitness mistakes that are sabotaging your results. We're going to make this two-parter because there are so many of them. And so I really just want to break this down to a digestible episode that you can hear it and you can say, oh, that's me. So let's go through the mistakes and how to fix them. I'm not here to shame you. This is not a you fail or you suck, or just because you're doing this, you're not doing well. This is literally just me telling you that you can see so much more progress if you do something slightly different, or if we just rewrite some of the ways that you are doing things. So I've honestly made all of these mistakes before in the past, and I've just been in the industry. I've been training for 20 years. I've been lifting for 15. I've been a personal trainer for 12. Like, I've just been doing this for so long that I have gone through a lot of these before. So I am here to walk through 10 of the most common and some sneaky fitness mistakes, how to fix them, how to train smarter so you actually see the results that you're working for. And as always, if you want a program that does all of this for you and takes the guesswork out of it, that gets you lifting heavy and training with a purpose, feeling like a badass woman at home or in the gym, that's what the Broads app is for. Every month you get a brand new training program that is smart, sustainable, and designed to get you the results without you burning out. I'm going to link it in the show notes. You get a free 7-day trial if you want to try out Broads Club. And we also have one-on-one custom coaching available as well. So here we go. Let's go right into it. And this is actually one of my favorites of the top 20, but the 10 that I'm going to go through today is skipping mind-muscle connection. Raise your hand, and I am raising mine if you are not watching this on YouTube, if you went through classes and would just go through the movements. There were so many times where I would do like a thruster or a row or a push-up, and I didn't even know what muscles I was really working. I would just go through the movements. And a lot of times with classes, it's just go through as fast as you can. So you're not seeing the full benefit of the lift. And what is mind muscle connection? It basically refers to the neurological process of focusing on the contraction of the muscle during the movement. And studies have shown that lifters who intentionally activate target muscle group experience greater muscle fiber recruitment and growth, especially during hypertrophy training, which again, as a reminder, is the act of growing muscles and getting stronger over time. So if you are looking to gain muscle mass, mind muscle connection is a huge aspect of this training. So think of a squat. Let's just call it a goblet squat. A goblet squat is where you're holding a kettlebell or dumbbell in front of you and you are actively thinking about the muscles that you're working. So when you have when you're doing a goblet squat, you're actually working a lot in your arms, your shoulders, your biceps, and your core. Goblet squats are one of my favorite core exercises. But then we think about our quads. That's our main muscle group that the goblet squats are working. So if I put intention into my quads as I'm coming out of my squat, I will actually get so much more bang for my buck with putting that intention to the muscle. And during each lift, you can think about what muscles are these working. I think about this all the time. Sometimes I'll have people in my group program or one-on-one, and they'll be like, what should I be feeling? And I always ask them first, what do you feel currently? And then what do you think this movement should be feeling? So I will go for the example of a lat pull down, like on a cable machine. We want to feel our big lat muscles on the side of our body. So we want to make sure that we're pulling our shoulders down first and then pulling our elbows down to the ground. So if you are just listening to me in your ears or you're watching this on video, I want you to actively try and pull your lats into the back pocket. Like if you were wearing jeans, you would just lock them down into your jeans. Like I can already feel my lats start to activate. So if we put that intention behind a cable lat pull down, a pull up, uh, basically any vertical row movements, you'll be able to like feel your lats right away. So think about any other movements here, like a bicep curl. Obviously, we're feeling our biceps. So if I'm coming up for the bicep or if I'm coming up for the curl, I can feel my muscle contracting. And then as I'm lowering the eccentric part of the movement, I can feel it as well. I do cue these very often in all of our resources section in the Broads app. I have how-to videos and tutorials of all of the main compound lifts to help you feel really strong and confident in each of them with little cues as well. Everything from drive through your heels in your squats to, putting oranges in your armpits to engage your lats and make orange juice from them. I'm sure you've heard me say the flashlight in the butthole cue, shine the light behind you when you're doing an RDL. All of those little cues will make you think about what muscles that you're working later on. So mind muscle connection. Next workout you do, really be intentional with what exercises are using what muscle group. And to be totally frank with you, if you have no idea, a quick little Google search will tell you what muscles you're working. Again, we do all of this for you in the Broads app. We tell you in the description what muscles you should be feeling. But just a quick search, I think will be like super beneficial if you're just not sure. And then you can be like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be feeling my, deltoids here or my upper pecs or my back or glutes or whatever it may be. Don't skip that. Number 2 mistake. I used to do this too, y'all. So I'm not shaming you for any of this, but inconsistent or poorly timed rest periods. Man, I have worked with a lot of women, including myself, that are from the HIIT worlds. We were, Tabata girlies, and we would do 30 seconds rest, or it'd be 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and it would just be like not enough time for recovery. And your rest periods play a huge role in how your body adapts to training. There is a time and place for all different types of rest periods, but when you are trying to see strength gains, when you are trying to build muscle and get stronger, you need to rest. Resting too long, which is for most of us probably not the case, unless you're, sometimes I'll be at the gym and I'll do a set and I'll like talk to someone for 5 minutes and then I'll be like, oh man, that was like too long. That is when you lose metabolic stress that you need for hypertrophy. Rest too short, so my HIIT girlies and my Tabata girlies, and your nervous system doesn't recover, which tanks your performance and can limit how much you lift on your next lift. Research shows that resting for at least 60 seconds is better for endurance and hypertrophy. And then 2 to 3 minutes is ideal for strength gains. So in a lot of the programming for Broads, you'll see 90 seconds, 120 seconds, 180 seconds, like close to that 3-minute range to make sure that you are lifting heavy enough and getting the rest you need to recover. Use a stopwatch. We also have rest timers in the Broads app. But for muscle growth, aim for at least 60 seconds, at least, preferably 90. Heavier compound lifts, 2 to 3 minutes is perfect. Again, Broads includes that rest timer for you, so you just don't even have to pay attention. It also will ding in your ear if you're listening to music to tell you when it's time to go again. Mistake number 3, not bracing your core during lifts. And I'm sure you've seen this all over the place before. Bracing your core. What is bracing your core? It is way more than just squeezing your abs, especially as a woman. We don't just want to pretend like someone is punching us in the stomach because we're pressing our pelvic floor down. And we want to think about kind of zipping up. So one of my favorite cues I've heard is that you pretend you have a straw from like your tongue basically all the way down to your pelvic floor. And you are trying to like slurp out like the bottom of a smoothie through that straw. So you're feeling that brace all along your trunk. You're stabilizing your entire trunk to protect your spine and lift more efficiently. So again, not just bracing the front, it's really all around. And it is tough to feel those transverse abs. You can't see me doing this, but with my hands, if you just put your hands like on the side of your body, like where your obliques go, and then bring them towards the center where your belly button is, those are your transverse abs. And then we also want to think about your back as well. So the movements that we would do for like a Superman, we want to think about engaging our whole trunk. And without proper bracing, you lose a lot of power in big lifts like your squats, your deadlifts, and overhead presses. And you also might be more prone to injury, especially in your lower back. So again, think about that thick straw that you would use for a smoothie. You can also practice this with a belt or a fanny pack, having it right around your waist, which would be right about your belly button, and just practice feeling that contraction all the way through your core to make sure that you stabilize and brace, and it's not just right in the front. So before each lift, you're going to inhale your belly, expanding the belly, not your chest, and create tension in your entire core, feeling that pressure all the way around the midsection. You're going to maintain that brace throughout the lift, especially between that eccentric and concentric phase. So if we talk about our squats, we want to make sure that we're maintaining that as we come out of the bottom of the squat. I think like inhale and then exhale through the exertion, but finding that straw or push fanny pack push and pull kind of at the same time. In Broads, I actually do have a video on bracing your core and give you some cues so that you can feel like you have stability in every single lift that you do. Mistake number 4, doing cardio before your lifting session. And if you know me at all, you know, I'm not a huge fan of cardio just in general, but if you're going to do it at the end, or do it at a different time of the day, or do it a different day in general. You know, where the plan that we're in right now is athletic conditioning. And so we have a little bit of conditioning at the end of the workouts, or we have it in the beginning as a CNS prep if it's really intentional. But I don't want you to just sit on a cardio piece of equipment for 20 or 30 minutes before you get in your lift. Doing cardio lifting, especially intense, can actually deplete your glycogen stores, increase fatigue, and lower your strength output during resistance training. Think about your central nervous system. It might be too taxed to maintain good form in heavy lifts. So if I'm talking about that program that we're in right now, we have a little CNS prep, which is a central nervous system prep. We'll do something like a jump rope, a box jump, a heavy kettlebell swings. We'll stay low in reps. So 5 to 10 reps total. Maybe we pair that, superset that with another kind of explosive power move to get us ready for our like explosive trap bar deadlifts or our box squats or our pull-ups or heavy bench press or something like that. That is a great way to like prep and prime in a very small way. The CNS prep is about 5 minutes in total, 4 or 5 minutes with rest periods of about 30 seconds. But we don't want to be doing like our 20 or 30 minutes of just like a low intensity steady state or, you know, on a bike or swimming or running or rowing or something before we get into our heavy work. If strength is your goal, always prioritize lifting first when your muscles are fresh. That's why I will also talk about always having your compound lifts towards the beginning of your workouts so that your muscles are fresh because you are working so many muscles and joints at the same time. That compound is multi-muscle, multi-joint. And again, you can use that light cardio in the beginning, like we have in this program, to get your heart rate up, but it's not your main event. I would say always do a dynamic warm up. We have all of that in the Broads app as well. Mobility leading into a little bit more dynamic warm up. Maybe we'll finish with like a jump rope, high knee kind of thing, and then we'll go into our work. Broads is structured to make your lifting your priority while you can still get room for conditioning when it makes sense for you and doing cardio of your choice. So again, you can do it after a lift session or just at another time of day or just a different day in general. Okay, number 5. This is something I feel like I can talk about for a while because I feel very passionate about shoes nowadays, especially because I've really transitioned to barefoot training. I also have had plantar fasciitis like fairly recently. And I feel very, very passionate about caring for your feet. But also, if you're not seeing the gains in your workouts, this could be because you're not wearing the right shoes. Unfortunately, I still see a lot of people at the gym honestly a lot of videos online that people are still wearing running shoes. They are built for forward motion and cushioning, which is great for running. This is not good for lifting. I'm sure you've seen the viral reel that went around there was a girl that was wearing gummy bear shoes. She had Ziploc baggie with gummy bears and she had her feet in it. And that is literally, and she's trying to lift like a deadlift or something in them. That is literally what it feels like to lift in running shoes. When you are lifting, you want to feel the ground. You want to have stability and force from the ground that can make your lifts feel stronger and better. A soft sole in a running shoe increases instability, which increases injury risk and reduces your overall power outputs. So please just try to do barefoot training, even with socks on, if you don't feel super comfortable barefoot. If your gym does not allow barefoot training, I use Vivo barefoot shoes. They are really great. Code Terra20 if you do want to try them out yourself. But they're a ton of different styles and they're also wide toe box, which is really great for someone like me that has duck feet. Because I feel like I just shove my feet in narrow shoes all day. And that's probably how I originally got plantar fasciitis. So making sure that you have full force on the ground is going to increase your lifts dramatically. You're going to feel so much better and stronger. Also, wearing any sort of flat-soled shoes like a Converse or Vans gives you solid connection to the ground. However, the caveat to that is that they are a little bit more narrow. So if you are someone like me that has like more of a wider toe box, you might really benefit from those barefoot shoes. Again, I use Vivo barefoot and my code's Terra20 if you want to try them out. This does allow for better alignment, which is more force through the heels and improve lifting performance. And honestly, lifting barefoot is really great as well if you have the ability to do that. I know not all gyms allow you to do that. Or also maybe you just don't want to be on the gym floor without shoes, and that's fine too. Although socks will, don't take this, will they prevent bacteria from your feet? I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but socks is what I was wearing before barefoot shoes and before I was told to put on shoes at the gym. Okay, number six mistake. This I would say is pretty normal in like the CrossFit world, in the HIIT world. The mistake I see is only training on one plane of motion. So most traditional strength training happens on the sagittal plane. The sagittal plane is moving front and back. So think like a forward and reverse lunge, squats. Then we have our frontal plane, which is our side to side movement. So our lateral lunges, our lateral raises. And then we have our rotational plane, which is our transverse plane. And this is movements that are rotating. So a very basic example is a Russian twist, although I don't love that move. I like a good axe chop, a Palloff press with a rotation, a rotational row, a rotational press. So many great rotation movements, but this is definitely a big mistake I see in a lot of training programs is that there is not a lot of side to side or rotational movements. This will limit your mobility, stability, and just overall function. If we think about what we do on a daily basis, y'all, we are not just moving forward and back. I think about your first movement out of bed is that you are turning your body. Well, I'm trying to think about how I get out of bed. How do I get out of bed? I have my body pillow. It's always in the way. So I move the body pillow. So I'm moving the body pillow from one side to the other. So that's already a twist. Literally one of my first movements of the day is I'm kind of doing a Russian twist with my body pillow, moving it to the other side. And then I'm swinging my feet around to get out of the bed, which is more of a rotation. And then I'll move forward. And then maybe I'll move laterally to get my toothpaste or toothbrush or go to the bathroom. Our bodies move on so many different planes. And so if we're always working that sagittal plane forward and back, then we are losing out on so many gains there. What to do instead? So of course, I'm going to always give you, ways to do this instead. Incorporating lateral lunges, curtsy lunges, anti-rotational core is chef's kiss, love it. That is a Palloff press. love pallet presses or any single leg or single arm movements that you can turn into some sort of rotational or lateral movements. These will always improve joint stability, core function, and coordination. And broads will always have you moving on every single plane. So again, taking the guesswork out of it for you. Number 7 mistake is rushing through your reps. Now, it's a problem because when you move quickly, you reduce time under tension, which is the amount of time that your muscles are actually working. So time under tension, you might see as TUT. And this is also that muscle recruitment and mind muscle connection. So if you're rushing through the reps, it's really hard to find that mind muscle connection. Now, time under tension is that key driver of hypertrophy or muscle growth. And quick, sloppy reps, like just on momentum and not muscle, that just means less muscle activation, less control, and most importantly, more risk of injury. If your weights look like they're just kind of flying around, or if they look way too easy, that's another thing that happens all the time when you're rushing through the reps. You're not going to get the results that you really could be getting. So slow shit down. I tell this to my clients all the time, every time they send videos. I'm like, slow it down. Why are we rushing? Why are we rushing? And then sometimes they'll say like, oh, I didn't have a lot of time, or I, wanted to get it done. And it's like, okay, let's shift your program around. On the one-on-one level, we have custom programming. So I'm happy to shift things around to make it fit within your schedule. I would rather you take things out than try and rush through things. And so slow things down. What to do instead? We are slowing things down. We're focusing on control. Personal fan of tempo. So I think of this with a single leg deadlift because I had a client recently do this with a single leg deadlift. I'm like, why are we lifting so fast? Slow down the eccentric. Gosh, the stability in that foot when you're slowing it down is incredible. You can get so much out of the movement when you just slow down, finding that balance and stability on your foot and standing up nice and tall and like squeezing that glute of their standing leg at the top. Maybe you always have that soft bend in your knees, so you get that giving you another chef's kiss on the glute. I'm touching my right butt cheek because I would say right leg. Think of each rep as a separate rep. I don't want you to think of like, I have to do 10 single leg deadlifts. No, you are doing one single leg deadlift 10 times. Every rep should be solid. Move with intention. Mistake number 8, not having a plan. This goes into anything that I talk about with broads. Why go to the gym without a plan if you want to see results? My thing that I say also, why go to the grocery store without a plan? A lot of people don't agree with that. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion. People want to get what they get, but no, I will absolutely not go to the grocery store without a plan. I'm going to spend too much money. I'm probably going to buy stuff I don't need. I'm going to forget recipe or ingredients. So I'm going to go to the grocery store with a plan, just like I'm going to go to the gym with a plan. Showing up without a plan means doing whatever feels good in the moment. And sometimes there can be that. If you have a workout, maybe you have an extra 10 or 15 minutes before or after, you can do some things that you want to work on or do things that feels good in the moment. But that does lead to inconsistent training, missed muscle groups, and honestly, zero progressive overload. And we're going back to not seeing the results that you want to see and not progressing over time. So progressive overload is the gradual increase in stress placed on the body throughout with more reps, more weights, more time under tension, more intensity over time. And it is essential for muscle growth and for fat loss. So any sort of body composition change. So of course, what to do instead? Follow a structured plan like the Broads app. This also builds week to week. We have 4 to 6 week plans. And then a good program tracks your volume, your frequency, rest periods, and intensity. So that's exactly what you get in the Broads app. New plan each month, created to help you increase strength and sculpt your body in a smart and sustainable way. Mistake number 8. This kind of goes along with the not having a plan, but doing random workouts, program hopping, taking only classes. This is something that I used to be a HIIT girly. I used to be a class girly. You probably have done this, or maybe you know someone that has done this. You try a TikTok workout one day and then a YouTube workout one day, and then you follow this girl's random glute workout the next day. Variety can be fun. I had a program called the TL Method for years. All we ever did was variety, but we didn't see the results that we wanted our clients to see. And this stalls results. It leads to frustration. So stick to one program for at the minimum 4 weeks. We typically do 4 or 5 week, potentially even 6 week plans. That gives your muscles time to adapt and your nervous system time to learn new movement patterns, new variations. Inside broads, we use strategic progression so that your workouts do evolve week over week and month over month without losing structure. So the base movements will stay the same. Sometimes the variation or the isolation movements might change, or the reps or sets, maybe a little bit of tempo. But really, we're trying to really focus on making sure that you are progressing on those compound lifts week over week. And finally, mistake number 10, doing too many or too few reps or sets. Training in the wrong rep range. And a lot of people ask me, like, what is the rep range that I should be at? Should it be here or here? In the Broads app and any of my programming, we have specific rep ranges for really specific exercises, but also what program that you're in. You want to be in the rep range for your specific goal. So if you are looking for strength, if you are looking to body recomp, maybe lose fat, you want to be in the 6 to 12 rep range. We don't do a ton over 12 unless it's a light isolation exercise or a core exercise that will be over in that 12 or 15 rep range. But too many reps, the load is often too light and we're focusing more on muscular endurance rather than strength. And too few reps, it might be that you're just not doing enough volume. Typically for my general worker outers, I keep using that as like a word, but it's not a word. For my like beginner, intermediate, maybe even advanced, we stay in that 6 to 12 rep range. Sometimes we'll get in the lower reps, but I don't love to go like super, super heavy without someone there with you. Always choose weights that feel challenging in that range. We always have rep ranges in broads, and this is really easy way to track your reps and sets. Again, if your goal is fat loss with muscle retention, so body recomposition, you do need to be in that hypertrophy zone. Broads is actually programmed in that sweet spot and hits it every week. All right, that's going to be part 1. We went through 10 mistakes of your fitness journey, and let's just go through them real quick one more time. 10 mistakes that you're not seeing progress. Number 1, skipping mind-muscle connection. Do not forget it. Number 2, inconsistent or poor rest periods. Make sure you're resting, not doing jumping jacks or burpees. Number 3, not bracing your core during lifts. Number 4, always starting your workouts with cardio. Number 5, wearing the wrong shoes for lifting. Number 6, only training on one plane of motion. Number 7, rushing through your reps. Number 8, not having a plan. Number 9, doing random workouts. And number 10, doing too many or too few reps. So I hope I gave you a ton of clarity. These are some of the most common mistakes. I will do a part 2. But remember, lifting is not just about moving weights. It is so much more than that. It is moving with a purpose, with intention, and with confidence. And truly, that is exactly what I want for you in and out of the gym. If you are ready to lift heavier, get stronger, and follow a program that actually works, check out the Broads app. Every month, you get a brand new training program designed by me to help you build muscle, feel powerful, and take up space in the gym or at home. We have both options. So go to broads.app to start your free trial and join us inside. I will see you there.